Hi guys, and welcome to the abject work chaos that is my world at the moment. As you can see, my lovely neat bench isn't. The office has been pretty much turned upside down. The process of moving in has, on this side, mostly continued. Don't even look around the corner. So, everything was going fairly normal. We were aware of the existence of COVID-19, and then all hell broke loose. So we've been having to rush to get equipment to customers for home working. We've managed to discover that these lovely cheap little Archer C50s can be made to run OpenVPN, which means we can send customers home with their PCs and their phones, which is cheering everyone up. And we've just literally been at everything. This pile of junk here was spread out across my desk and was going to be your latest video. It will happen when things calm down. Obviously, as you saw, the old restaurant bar behind me is a nightmare. That hasn't stopped. And then, I don't know if you can see, we're based in a pub, as some of you may or may not know. I don't think I can get round the... I'll go downstairs and show you. Obviously the pub is now closed, and it's gradually become a community support centre. So if we just quickly run downstairs, everything is just piled everywhere. I did some concreting the other day, and that's about as far as that got. Just to, give you our position on it, there it is. Our offices are closed. Let's just make sure that I'm not about to lock myself up, which will make my other half very happy. And then again, so we're not locked down, but we're closed. And then in the back car park, you'll notice that rather than customer cars, we have ambulances, and the rest is just empty. There is so little traffic on the road at the moment, it's just scary. Right, just pause you for a second. So we're back out in the main pub, and yeah, it's all very different in here at the moment. So this time on a Sunday night, this area would be rammed. Instead, we've got one of my tool bags and a cushion playing pool. Back bar here has become a bit of a community hub for organising everything that's going on in the village and trying to make sure that people aren't being left out. More notices. Other people like Carl from Refill Centre have stepped up and made our life a bit easier. I had no printers, Carl sorted that out, but again, this should be busy in here. And through the other bar, you can see that we've started to take the bars apart. We can't leave the beer on, we can't leave the spirits on. They all need to be taken off, capped, and basically everything needs to be made hygienic and clean. Beer is a live product, which means it contains live yeast, and if it's stored in the pipes or allowed to stay in the casks without any movement or anything happening, it will go off and it will just turn into blobs of yeast, which is quite frankly grim. So I've been sorting out comms for the village. We've been getting these Cisco SPA 323s configured. We've got this delightful one here, which I spent a good portion of the morning trying to find out why we had one-way audio with it, only to discover that it was actually the speaker in the phone that had packed up. I have been compiling a DVD library for the village, and there is more of that over here. That's 200 DVDs input and scanned this morning, and we've got probably at least another 50 in there. Those have been scanned, they need to go over in the sort pile, so we'll do that now. Then to go with these, We have DVD players that need to be cleaned, properly cleaned, not just blown over with a duster, and then pat tested before they can go anywhere. Obviously, with the panic buying and people being idiots, there have been shortages. We've got the resources, we've got the cards to be able to get into the cash and carries and buy stuff. So we've been running a small shop from the front. We've also been selling through the beer that we've got in the open casks as quickly as we can for a pint each. It gives people something to take home and stay at home with rather than be out, and obviously it helps us because it means that we're not going to lose that beer. So more community hub stuff. We've been giving these out. Somebody donated these. We've got these leaflets which we're coordinating with the parish council to get out. We've got food, we've got ink, we've got milk, we've got paper. It's completely unexpected, and I don't think anyone saw the level of just what this was or what this was going to be coming, and it's caught a lot of people off guard. A lot of people are criticising what the government are doing. They're in a hard place. They have to be very nuanced about it. The long and short of the whole thing is we need to all catch it. We all need to get this virus, and we all need to build the herd immunity, which you've often heard mentioned. However, we don't need it all at once, because some of us aren't going to get ill, some of us are going to get very ill, some of us are actually going to die. Thankfully the numbers are low. I realise that's no consolation at all for those that do unfortunately pass on. But you'll hear a lot of the government referring to what's called flattening the curve. If the virus is unchecked, if you look at Iran, if you look at Italy, where things perhaps were not done, more so Iran, where they just stuck their head in the sand for a while, the virus spikes very, very quickly. And, you know, there are more people that would become critically ill and would die than we have beds for. Very quickly the NHS would collapse. The NHS are pulling private contractors in, the private hospitals are coming in, the private medical providers are coming in, even companies like us where we do have 2 ambulances, one is an event support vehicle and one is a PTS. They're not set up for frontline work, but we're being pulled in because we can do logistics, we can move kit around, and I guess this is something that you're not necessarily hearing in the media, the amount of preparation the NHS are putting into this. The long and short of this is, though, we won't cope. We still won't cope. If everyone carries on as they are, we won't cope. We will be hopelessly overwhelmed and it will go bad. And this is why you're being told to self-isolate and stay indoors. You know, if you pick the virus up and transfer it to one person, they will transfer it to more, and it's an exponential thing. There are plenty of diagrams on the net that explain how it works, and I won't go into it. But if you've got the virus and you don't go out, you don't necessarily know you've got it at that point, then that person won't catch it. The next 2 people they meet won't catch the virus. The next 2 people that each of those 2 people you've already infected won't catch the virus, and so on. There's a whole tree there that will just die and wither because you broke the chain. And obviously this video is very much about where we've been, or where I've been, why you haven't got your videos, where the updates are and where we are now. Oops, I'm going to make you seasick. But it's also to implore you again, as someone who's worked in the healthcare sector and someone who does consider himself a healthcare professional of sorts, please just stay indoors. We'll get the videos up. If you follow my stuff, you'll want to look at Musty1. You'll want to look at Ave. You'll want Dave at AEV blog. You'll want to look at This Old Tony. Niall Red, Cody's Lab. There's so much stuff on YouTube to watch. Just lock yourself in a room and go through their back catalogue. With those guys alone, it's going to take you a month. A very enjoyable month. But our hope is that the next week is going to be rough. It's going to be rough on everyone because this is new. No one has ever done this before. In a lot of people have compared this to World War Two. It's nothing like World War Two. In World War Two, people went out, people gathered together, people helped boost each other's confidence. Everyone was ready to assist everybody else. Everybody was just diving in there, and it's no different this time. Everybody's ready to dive. Well, most people are ready to dive in and help. The trouble is you can't this time. You've got to distance yourself from everyone, and you've got to work out a way of being helpful and maintaining the distance. And that's hard because when you see the customer, the friend, or whoever, and you take that phone call and you can hear that they're struggling. I've literally just had a text message from a very good friend of mine, exactly the same. I would so much want to just go and put my arm around them right now and tell them that we are going to get through this. Civilization is going to carry on. The world's going to be a different place at the end of it, but we're all mostly going to get to the end of this. But you can't do that. So we need to look at other ways of getting through to our friends, getting through to those that need it, and looking after those of us that, really can't at the moment. And I realise this is probably a very boring video, so I'm going to shut up in a second. As I said, we'll get videos out. I will try and get things working. I've got most of the Renault Master video done. It needs editing. It has unfortunately ended up being very bitty because we had a feeling this was coming, so getting the vehicle done was actually more important than getting the video done, so it more turned into a progress report. I'll be doing some more work on those vehicles this week, which I'll get over. The Range Rover blower motor and the Owens Law video are mostly done. I just need to go over the maths and do the sit down scribbly bits, so we should be able to get that turned around fairly fast. And as I say, the other guys are still filming. This isn't the end of the world. I believe REM said it's the end of the world as we know it, which I believe is probably what we're looking at. We're coming out the side of this. We're going to be a very different race. But it's a warning shot. It's proving some of the things that we thought we couldn't do, we can. And hopefully it's bringing communities together as well. Anyway, enough on that cheerful note. I will get this video uploaded. And hopefully we'll get some more up to you, and we'll see you on the other side.